Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated.
Happy Women's History Month, Jags. Welcome to another edition of Jag TV. I'm Liam.
And I'm Awa. If you have any questions or information you would like aired, email nwjagtv@gmail.com and make sure to follow us on Instagram at nwjagtv.
The theme for this year's Women's History Month is celebrating women who tell our stories.
So how exactly did Women's History Month generate? Courtesy of ABC and Good Morning America, here are some facts.
It's March 1st, which marks the beginning of Women's History Month, a month-long celebration to honor women's often overlooked contributions to American history, like those of Elizabeth Blackwell, the first woman to officially become a doctor in the United States in 1849. Sojourner Truth, Susan B. Anthony, and Elizabeth Cady Stanton, all leaders in the women's suffrage movement. And Harriet Tubman, who led hundreds of enslaved people to freedom. But what's the history behind Women's History Month? It all began in 1978 with only a week-long celebration. It was organized by the Sonoma County Commission on Women. The week of March 8th was selected to correspond with International Women's Day, which had been celebrated around the world on March 8th since 1911. The movement began to gain momentum, and the following year, other communities and school districts initiated their own celebrations of Women's History Week. Then in 1980, the National Women's History Project lobbied for national recognition, and they were heard, because in February of that year, President Jimmy Carter issued the first proclamation, which declared the week of March 8th as National Women's History Week. 6 years later, the same organization petitioned for an expansion on the event, and in March of 1987, Congress passed Public Law 100-9, proclaiming March as Women's History Month. Now every March and all month long, we celebrate countless extraordinary women who've earned their place at the table. And the rest, as they say, is history.
So, today we talk about Susan B. Anthony. Susan B. Anthony was born in Massachusetts and lived there for 6 years before she and her family moved to New York.
Susan began her journey by helping to organize the Women's New York State Temperance Society, which pushed her towards women's rights advocacy. Although in 1872 she casted a vote for the presidential election, which would end up getting her arrested, the conviction had been made without trial. It was clear that she'll never have a real opportunity anyways. On top of all this, she received a fine. Anthony would refuse to pay this fine and move on to traveling to different states in hope of winning the franchise for women.
Susan B. Anthony would pass only a few years before the 19th Amendment would be passed, yet she would end up depicted as the first woman on U.S. currency. So that is our fact of the day. Each day of the month, we will share little-known history facts.
Moving on to our sports update.
The boys and girls indoor track teams competed at the Maryland State Championships last Wednesday at the PG Sportsplex. The girls competed hard, and although we were limited, Jada S. placed 7th for high jump in the 4x4 relay with Alicia H., Kenley H., Jada S., and Bailey S. finished 4th. Finally, our team consisting of Anika M., Kenley H., Kea H., and Bailey S. placed 8th overall in the 4x8 relay. Great job!
The boys also competed at a high level and scored in 7 events, finishing 3rd overall in the team standings. Top individual scores were Sydney H., 3rd in the 500-meter dash, David M. came 3rd in the pole vault, Gage O. was 4th in the 3,200-meter run, and 6th in the 800-meter run. In the shot put, Paul R. and Douglas J. scored 6th and 7th respectively.
For the boys 4x8 relay, a team composed of Gage O., John M., Andrew T., and Gray N. finished 5th overall. And to finish out the day in a close finish, the boys 4x4 relay with Tony B., Sydney H., Jacob M., and Gage O. finished 3rd overall.
Next up, close out the indoor season is the Nike National Championships in New York City. The meet will be live streamed on runnerspace.com. If you are interested in running outdoor track, make sure you have your registration completed with an updated physical. If you have any questions, you can see Coach Adams in room 104 during lunch.
Today, the MSP has their Domino's Pizza fundraiser.
Make sure to order from Domino's and mention Northwest to your CSR or delivery driver.
20% of every order goes back to the MSP. Support them today.
As prom gets closer, we'll have more announcements to share with you. Although today we do have 2 prom announcements for you.
K&G is here for your Prom 2023. Shop Prom 2023 and get 10% off your purchase when mentioning Northwest.
Plus, 10% will be given back to Northwest. Don't miss out and find your local K&G fashion superstore by visiting kgsstores.com.
In less than 1 month from today, Clarksburg Closet and Cedarbrook Community Church will be bringing back their prom dress giveaway event at Cedarbrook. Everyone is welcome, and each girl can pick 1 free dress to take home.
Any new formal dress shoes, bags, or other accessory donations are welcome and can be dropped off to Ms. Strouser in the attendance office.
Next, it's time to talk about SMOB. Sammy S., a junior at Richard Montgomery High School, and Joseph Z., a junior at Springbrook High School, are the finalists for the 46th Student Member of the Board of Education.
Mr. S. and Mr. Z. were chosen from a pool of 12 students by more than 400 voting middle and high school delegates at this year's SMOB nominating convention, including delegates of our own from Northwest.
Elections will be held on April 19th. Make sure to learn more about these candidates and what they look to improve and work on for our county.
Before we conclude our show for today, we have a quote for you. Sometimes the bravest and most important thing you can do is just show up. Bren Brown.
Thanks for watching. I've been Liam.
And I've been Awa. Make sure to do something special or show your appreciation for the woman in your life.
We'll see you in the next one.